courageous and bold. Long live his fame, and long live his glory, and long may his story be told.
Pella, Iowa was not only home to Dominie Scoldy and his band of Hollanders, it was also the boyhood home of the most famous lawman in American Western history, Wyatt Earp. And he lived right here. Let's go inside. Wyatt Earp was born in Monmouth, Illinois on March 19, 1848, and was only 2 years old when Nicholas, Wyatt's father, moved his family to Pella, Iowa. While living in Pella, Nicholas held the office of U.S. Provost Marshal of Marion County. Wyatt, later to become famous as a gunslinging Western Marshal, was just an ordinary Pella boy who spent most of his spare time working on his father's farm. In 1864, when Wyatt was 16 years old, Nicholas organized a wagon train of about 40 families to California. Before they started westward, Nicholas gave Wyatt his first firearm. It was a clumsy weapon, but it would prove to be a valuable tool for the wagon train on the move. He kept the party well supplied with fresh game, and dangers encountered on this trip would change Wyatt from a boy into a man. In 1870, Wyatt had worked his way back to Lamar, Missouri, where he fell in love and married Rilla Sutherland. The ceremony was performed by Nicholas, who was now Justice of the Peace. Their time together as husband and wife was short. Tragedy struck as Wyatt's pregnant wife died within the first year during childbirth while she had typhoid fever. The following year found Wyatt in a lot of trouble. He was jailed in an Oklahoma Indian Territory for horse theft, and he jumped bail and fled before he came to trial. Later, he was to work for the other side of the law as he became a U.S. Marshal, keeping law and order in many western towns. It was during this time in 1879 that Wyatt and his two brothers, known as the Fighting Earps, along with Doc Holliday, fought the historic gunfight at the OK Corral that was to leave 3 dead and 3 wounded. Only Wyatt escaped unwounded. In spite of the colorful and eventful life that Wyatt led, he lived to a ripe old age of 80. He died on January 13, 1929 in Los Angeles, where he resided during his last years. He left no children and only his common-law wife, Josephine Marcus, whom he'd been with for 48 years. Many of the tales told about Wyatt are undoubtedly true. However, some of the legends that have sprung up cannot be documented, as the case with any folk hero. The mists of time have obliterated some of the facts, but we do know that we had a boy here in Pella who would later become a famous U.S. Marshal living in this home located in the Pella Historical Village and Museum.
I'll tell you a story, a real true life story, a tale of the western frontier. The West, it was lawless, but one man was flawless, and his is the story you'll hear.
Oh, Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. Long live his fame, and long live his glory, and long may his story be told.